the sun. From the earth to the sun, we are traveling on the race.
Hi everybody, it's Mateusz from the Cosmos Within Us, and today we are going to be talking about the coming new moon in Libra, which is going to happen September 25th, so we still have some time to prepare ourselves for that. So let's look into that. This is a chart for those of you who like to look at the charts or who can look at the chart, and we see this cluster of planets. There's a Sun, Moon, Mercury and Venus very close together, actually being in conjunction at the moment of this new moon. And we also see Jupiter at the opposite side. The Jupiter is in pretty tight opposition to this new moon, and it's worth mentioning, worth remembering that Jupiter and Mercury are retrograding right now, the same as Saturn, Pluto, Neptune and Uranus. Yes, we have 6 retrograding planets right now, so the retrograding energy is present, I would say. Retrograding planets is a completely different topic, but for the purpose of today's video, we can say that retrograding planets are not behaving exactly the way we expect or we predict them to behave. So there's a lot of things to discover. It's basically a time to go inward and to discover a different aspect of that planet and whatever this planet symbolizes manifests in our lives. New moon is a end of the lunar cycle and the beginning of a new one, right? So we are wrapping up the Virgo cycle. We are already past the full moon in Pisces, which was so much about the Virgo-Pisces axis, and right now we are getting ready for the new moon in Libra, which is gonna be so much about the relationships. Libra is a cardinal air element sign. The cardinal signs are connected to a very basic and fundamental parts of our life and our personality. Libra is a sign that tells us how do we function in the relationship with other people, especially one-on-one relationship. So this can be, of course, a romantic relationship, but Libra is all our partnerships. Especially where there is some kind of a contract between two people. The marriage is just one type of a contract. So Libra is also about business partnerships and friendships as well. It tells us how we get into the relationship and how we function. The Libra, is a scale, so it also tells about the balance and harmony in the relationship, and the balance and the harmony between us and other people and other person. And actually, the relationships are so important that it goes much farther, and it's about the relationship and balance between us and the external world. So this is what we are going to be working on for the next 28 days after the new moon. The relationship between me and my boyfriend or girlfriend or friend, husband, wife, partners in business. It can be also parents, like how do we function in one-on-one relationship. Libra is also one of these signs that are constantly looking for an input from other people. The Libra type is a person that is very deeply rooted in psychological reality of other people. So it wants to know what other people want, what are their needs, what are their expectations, and wants to these things to be fulfilled. Libras are born diplomats. They have great sense of the social convenances, the rules, social regulations, codes, and this kind of stuff. Of course, they can choose themselves to go against it, but at least they have a good understanding of this level of the relationship and social functioning. the flip side of Libra, or what people with a strong Libra signature in their charts need to work on, is their own needs. Because as we say, a Libra can be so much focused on other people that in the end of the day forgets about herself or himself, and end up frustrated with our own needs not to be fulfilled. And also the thing is that the bias is another thing, another challenge of Libra, because if we are so much rooted in the reality of other people, and so much and thinking so much about what they want and what are other people needs, then we kind of lost touch with our own needs, with what we want, what is good for us. And this is of course symbolized by opposite sign Aries. And this is where the Jupiter in Aries, retrograding Jupiter in Aries, comes in to this mix. Jupiter symbolizes our relationship with the society, symbolizes religion, morality, social confiance, this kind of things, among many of course. But when Jupiter is retrograding, it invites us to explore our own moral standards, especially the Jupiter in such a sign as Aries, which is like very fast acting, self-focused Jupiter. So it invites us to explore our own moral standards, or at least question the morality that is considered a standard one by everyone else or by the society. Retrograding Jupiter is so much about finding your own tribe, sometimes going against the grain or going against your family or the cultural setup. So the new moon in Libra, sun and moon in Libra, harmony, balance in the relationship, social rules as well, complying to certain codes and the regulations, and retrograding Jupiter in Aries, finding your own rules and questioning, examining what society gave us as a standard way of behavior or as a standard way of conduct, the standard way of playing nice, and we could almost say the standard way of niceness. So the retrograding Jupiter in Aries asks us to question that, to look into it and ask if what the culture serves us is really what serves me. And this is this retrograding Jupiter, a quality of going against the grain. People with a retrograding Jupiter, very often they have to literally leave sometimes their homeland, their country, their culture, and embark on a journey to find, as I would say, their own tribe, but to find their own place, to find their own culture, or the culture that fits their constitution, and finding people that are more alike. And the whole cardinal axis, Libra, Aries, is a little bit about that. We will have full moon in Aries, October 9th. So this is where this duality will be exposed in a full light, right? Me, myself, my own needs and desires, Aries, and other people's needs and expectations, Libra. So that's all about this balance. But this Jupiter, which is a very strong big planet, they say that the Jupiter is like a small sun, brings a little bit the quality of this opposition. It emphasizes the themes of Libra Aries axis. Another interesting thing is that if Jupiter is connected with the morality and our relationship with the society, how we function in a social setup, there are two things that can possibly come out of that, or they are connected with these areas, and these are also shame and guilt, because there are certain, the shame and guilt comes from some kind of feeling of failure, where there's a situation when there are some standards, where there are some rules or the regulations or expectations that we have not been able to comply with or fulfill. When Jupiter is retrograding, it might show us, or it might brings up or emphasize this aspect. In this case, this new moon is might be also a good time to meditate on our failure to take care of ourselves and giving too much energy to others, or a guilt of taking care of ourselves and putting too much energy and time to fulfill our own needs and to take care of our own stuff. So watch out for the guilt and shame connected with these areas of our life, because the new moon is a time that brings up themes. That's why I always say that around the new moon it's important to pay attention to what is surfacing, all the new moon themes, the pattern of thoughts or feelings that somehow comes to us during that time. It tells us what this cycle is going to be about, what to pay attention to, what we're going to be working with. And retrograding Mercury is very close to Sun and Moon. Mercury is a messenger, right? So new moon and retrograding movement have something in common. They're both about doing an internal work. The new moon is a time when we go inward, inside, when we meditate, when we stay in silence, sometimes solitude, when we reflect, regenerate. Retrograding Mercury which symbolizes our mind, 5 senses, it's also this time when we go inward. The Mercury, the Hermes, as a messenger, when it's retrograding, this is the time when the Hermes goes into the underworld, into Hades, goes underneath the surface of consciousness, underneath what is known and understood and perceivable with 5 senses, right? It goes there in order to bring a message, the message from within. So this retrograding Mercury in a very close proximity to this new moon, it's kind of enhancer of the inner work, of exploring the inside, and really reflecting upon the relationship, how we go into relationship, how we make relationship works, what is inside of us that make relationships not working, and all this kind of stuff. The balance between us and other person, the balance between us and society, how much attention and energy we put into fulfilling our own needs and taking care of ourselves, and how much we put into other people. Venus, the planet that rules Libra, and we say that the planets that are in Libra are going to respond to Venus. So it's also an important planet to take under the consideration during this full moon. The Venus is right now in Virgo. The sign of service and humbleness might be tipping the scale a little bit towards focusing on other people, because Venus in Virgo is a kind of compassion and service, or the service that comes out of compassion. But anyway, it emphasizes other people's situation. It emphasizes focusing on where are other people and what do they need. Venus and Mercury in Libra opposing Neptune in Pisces. Well, in terms of this coming new moon and themes of Libra, the relationships, this is also, this is activating this aspect of functioning in the relationship, which is asking for the balance between a very practical approach to relationship, helping and service, and deep connection with other people, following intuition and dreams, or making a connection on a more emotional level with people. So the balance between you know, being very practical in helping other people. But maybe sometimes other person just wants to for you to listen to her or him, or just to hold her or his hand, or just to feel the presence. That's a Pisces Virgo axis in the context of this Libra new moon. Where is the balance between these two things? Or maybe sometimes it's the opposite. Maybe people maybe just our a compassionate and forgiving presence is in this case not enough, and we must take an action or do very practical things in the relationship. Maybe just this is what our relationship is about, doing a practical things for somebody else. So also the balance in the practical aspect of the relationship with other people and a more spiritual, emotional, Piscean, aspect of these things. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel if you like it. Share it if you found this content valuable. And I am back from vacation. I'm taking booking for the private readings. So please, feel free to contact me if you need any guidance or feel called to explore yourself through the astrology. Thank you so much and take care. Bye bye.
We are like travelers.